Stop. Just stop. Everything you've been taught about money might be wrong. Do you really believe that working hard and saving is enough? Then tell me, why are so many people who work 12 hours a day still poor? My name is Napoleon Hill. I spent over 25 years studying the richest men in history: Rockefeller, Edison, Ford, Carnegie. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, poverty doesn't begin in the wallet. It begins in the mind. And the most dangerous part is, it disguises itself as humility, caution, even common sense. But in truth, it's fear. Fear of thinking big. Fear of taking control. If you want to escape this invisible prison, I'm going to show you now the brutal truth that millionaires know, but no one dares to tell you. Stop and look around. How many people do you know who constantly complain about their life, their salary, the government, bad luck, yet continue doing exactly the same things every single day? I'm telling you, this is not a coincidence. It's an invisible prison. The prison of the poor mind. Throughout all my years studying the wealthiest and most influential people in history, I discovered a truth that is as powerful as it is uncomfortable. Poverty does not lie in external conditions, but in internal convictions. You can change jobs, move to a different city, even win the lottery, but if you keep thinking like a poor person, you'll end up right back where you started. Thinking poor means living reactively. It means waiting for the world to change before you take action. It means believing that success is a matter of luck, or timing, or something reserved for those who were born under a lucky star. This way of thinking turns people into victims, not creators. They live like passengers in the back seat of their own lives. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "This isn't for me. I can't get out of this. I'm terrible with money." Sound familiar? If so, know that you're silently sabotaging yourself every day. The poor mind feeds on doubt, fear, and scarcity. And the worst part is, this scarcity isn't always financial. Sometimes it's emotional, spiritual, or a lack of vision. Have you noticed how people with a poor mindset react to the success of others? They criticize, feel jealous, claim the other person was lucky or did something wrong. Why? Because someone else's prosperity puts a mirror in front of them showing how stuck they are. That hurts. And to ease the pain, they choose to judge instead of act. When I first interviewed Andrew Carnegie, I was just a young reporter. He looked me in the eye and said, "You can become as great as any man who has ever lived. But that will depend on what you feed your mind every single day." That hit me like lightning. Not because of the words themselves, but because at that moment, I realized how much I was a prisoner of the beliefs I inherited from childhood. I grew up hearing that money was hard to get, that the rich were dishonest, that success was dangerous. And without realizing it, I was carrying all that with me. Do you also carry voices from the past? From parents, teachers, neighbors who said the best thing was to have a stable job, avoid risks, don't dream too big? Do those voices still control you? Because most people live on autopilot, guided by a mental program they never chose. And that's tragic, because the human mind has the power to create entire worlds, but also to confine itself to a cell built from words. True millionaires don't wait for perfect conditions. They shape the conditions. They create possibilities where others see obstacles. And do you know what the first step is? Taking control of the mind. Choosing what to think, what to feel, what to repeat. They live from the inside out, not the outside in. While most people wake up and react to what they see on the news, their bank balance, or what others think, those who think like the wealthy wake up and decide what they're going to create that day. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience. Studies show that when the brain is repeatedly exposed to certain thought patterns, it builds neural pathways that shape behavior. If you tell yourself every day that you're poor, unlucky, or limited, your brain will believe you. It will search for evidence. It will create behaviors that confirm it. But if you begin to affirm with intention, I am capable, prosperity finds me, I create solutions, your mind begins to open new pathways, new behaviors, new decisions. Imagine your mind is a garden. If you don't plant anything, weeds grow. And those weeds are society's limiting beliefs. They're the fear-driven news, the people around you who constantly complain, the environment that repeats every day that you should settle. If you don't plant thoughts of prosperity, you'll harvest scarcity by default. And here's the most important point. Mental poverty is comfortable. Yes, comfortable. Because it frees you from responsibility. When you believe the world is against you, that everything is hard, that you don't have a choice, you can stop trying. You can blame the government, the boss, your parents, your past. You can settle. And the comfort of settling is seductive. But it's also the poison that silently kills dreams. Many people believe they're failing because they lack opportunity. I'm telling you, most fail because they lack the mindset. Opportunity is like a seed, and the mind is the soil. If the soil is dry, the seed dies. But if it's fertile, even the smallest opportunity can become an empire. And do you know the good news? The mind can be trained. It doesn't matter if you've lived for 30, 40, or 60 years believing you were born to suffer. You can change that now. You can consciously choose which thoughts to nurture. And when you do, something incredible begins to happen. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop being a spectator and become the main character. So don't ask yourself anymore, how do I get rich? Instead ask, how do I start thinking like someone who is already rich? Because when your mind aligns with abundance, the world responds. Ideas appear. Solutions emerge. Courage is reborn. And success stops being a fantasy and becomes a path. Are you ready to leave the invisible prison? Then start now. Question everything you've ever learned about money. Watch your thoughts. Replace doubt with certainty. Scarcity through faith. Fear through action. This is true liberation. And it begins here and now in your mind. Do you want to change your life? Do you long for freedom, prosperity, and a life of purpose? Then listen carefully, because what I'm about to say separates the dreamers from the doers. Wishing is not enough. Everyone wants a better life, a new car, a full bank account, a dream home. Everyone wants that. But the truth is, wanting alone changes nothing. What transforms is a burning desire. Not just any desire, but the kind that keeps you awake at night. That consumes your thoughts so completely you can't imagine another path. A desire that shouts so loudly within you that it leaves no room for excuses. The great men I interviewed during my journey, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller, all had one thing in common. None of them reached the top by accident. None of them moved forward by luck. Each of them carried a fire within. A clear, burning, non-negotiable obsession. It wasn't just ambition. It was a drive so strong that no criticism, no failure, and no obstacle could extinguish it. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever wanted something so deeply that everything around you seemed to align to make it happen? That's exactly what happens when the desire is real. The mind begins to operate on another level. It activates dormant regions, opens your vision, and reveals paths that were once invisible. It's as if a radar turns on, precisely picking up ideas, connections, and resources. But that radar only activates with emotional intensity. Lukewarm desire moves no one. It's burning desire that sets the soul in motion. When I wrote Think and Grow Rich, I had no financial support, no guarantees, no security. I had one thing, a purpose burning inside me. I needed to deliver that message to the world. I had to prove that any person, with the right mindset, could build any reality. Can you imagine working for years on a project while people told me it was a waste of time? sleeping in cheap inns, not knowing if I would have food the next day. And yet, I kept going, because when the desire is real, it doesn't rely on motivation. It pulls you forward even when everything is against you. Maybe you're listening to this now with a dream inside your chest, but also with fear. Fear of starting, fear of failing, fear that you're not enough. And I get it. Fear tries to steal the strength of desire. It whispers, "You're not good enough. It's too late. What if you fail?" But let me tell you something. Every millionaire I interviewed also felt fear. The difference is that they didn't let fear make their decisions. Their desire was louder. Their vision was stronger. Their belief in their purpose was more real than any doubt. What makes a person get up every day at 5 in the morning, even when they're exhausted? What makes someone study while others sleep? What makes an entrepreneur keep trying after 3 or 4 bankruptcies? It's not fleeting motivation. It's burning desire. It's an unshakable commitment to a future that doesn't yet exist, but already beats powerfully in the heart. But pay attention. That desire must be nurtured. It doesn't survive on its own. If you abandon it, it cools. If you silence it, it dies. You must feed it with clear thoughts, firm words, and daily actions. Every day. It doesn't matter if it's raining or if no one believes in you. Action fuels the fire. Repeating the plan reinforces the purpose. Consistency shapes destiny. And here's a key point. Burning desire is not just emotional, it is strategic. It demands a plan. Wanting is not enough. You must write down exactly what you want. Set a deadline. Outline the steps. And repeat this every single day until your mind accepts it as inevitable reality. This isn't empty optimism. It's mental reprogramming. When the mind is exposed to a goal with clarity and emotion, it starts to believe. And when it believes, it acts. You don't need to wait for confidence to begin. You need to begin so confidence can arise. Action creates courage. Clarity creates direction. And desire creates momentum. How many people do you know who have talent but remain stuck? Who have good ideas but never act on them? It's because they lack true desire. They lack that inner commitment that turns intention into action. Many people say, "If I had more money, I'd do it. If I had more time, I'd try." But the truth is, if you truly wanted it, you would have started already. Burning desire doesn't accept excuses. It turns obstacles into energy. And if no path exists, it creates one. I've met men who started with nothing. Nothing but an idea. Nothing but an obsession. And they built fortunes. Because they didn't just want it. They needed it. They felt it in their blood. In their hearts. And that made them unstoppable. And you? What is your burning desire? What consumes you from the inside to the point you can't sleep? What do you want so deeply that you'd sacrifice comfort, distractions, even relationships that hold you back? If you don't know yet, search for it. And once you find it, protect that desire with your life. Declare it to the world. Write about it. Speak about it. Live for it. Because that desire will be the engine of your transformation. It will be your compass when all seems dark. It will be your fuel when no one else believes. And if you keep it alive, nothing can stop your journey. Wealth begins within. And all you need to achieve it is a desire so strong that no excuse can survive. Desire with faith. Desire with clarity. And desire with action. That is the true beginning of every fortune. You speak to yourself all the time. Silently, in the spaces between thoughts, in the words you repeat in the mirror or during traffic. And maybe you've never realized it. But what you say to yourself is shaping your life. It's drawing, without your awareness, the boundaries of what you believe is possible or impossible. Most people live trapped in a destructive internal dialogue. Phrases like, "I'm not good enough," "This is too hard for me," Things like that don't happen to me are often repeated like silent mantras. And do you know what happens? The mind believes it. Because the subconscious, that powerful and influential part of our mind, doesn't distinguish truth from emotionally charged repetition. It simply accepts and acts on it. That's what I discovered when I studied the most successful people on the planet. They didn't talk to themselves like victims. They treated themselves as architects of their own reality. Their inner words were like firm orders given to an invisible army, orders that the subconscious accepted as law. This has a name. It's the most underestimated power of the human mind, autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the bridge between burning desire and unwavering faith. It's the daily practice of feeding the subconscious with clear, emotional, and focused commands. It's not about repeating pretty phrases in front of a mirror. That's superficial. What I teach is a strategic, scientific process that reprograms your inner system. Think about it for a moment. If every day you tell yourself with feeling, I am capable, success is inevitable, I deserve to thrive, and you visualize those affirmations vividly, your brain begins to change. Neuroscience studies show that the brain is plastic, moldable. It creates new connections when exposed to consistent stimuli. That means you can literally reconfigure your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with words. But be aware, emotion is the key ingredient. Saying, I am rich, in a weak voice, without belief, is like trying to move a mountain with a strand of hair. The subconscious responds to emotional intensity. The more you feel, the deeper the impression. That's why many people don't get results with affirmations, because they recite them like a cake recipe, with no soul, no energy, no truth. I learned to use auto-suggestion even before I wrote Think and Grow Rich. And I'll tell you about an experience that marked my life. During a time of deep crisis, facing rejection from publishers, mounting debt, and disbelief even from close friends, I handwrote a sentence on a piece of paper. I will influence millions of people around the world to awaken their inner power. I taped that paper to the wall and repeated it aloud every day, dozens of times, with tears in my eyes and a lump in my throat. And I kept writing, even without knowing whether anyone would ever read my words. Years later, that desire became a book. That book became impact. And that sentence became reality. Have you ever stopped to think about what you're feeding your subconscious? Are you programming your mind to win, or letting it be programmed by the media, social networks, and the negative voices around you? Because if you don't take control of your inner dialogue, someone else will. And that someone is almost always trapped in scarcity, fear, and mediocrity. It's time to turn the game around. Write down your goals. Declare them with conviction every day. Visualize them in detail. See yourself achieving what you desire. Feel the pride, the joy, the peace, not superficially, but as if you were already living it. Because to the subconscious, what is experienced strongly enough becomes real. The brain doesn't distinguish between reality and intense imagination. When you visualize and feel deeply, you're training your body for success. You're preparing your mind to react differently to opportunities. You're shaping your emotional frequency. And that changes everything. I often say, the mind is like a garden. If you don't plant, weeds grow by themselves. Those weeds are thoughts of doubt, lack, and discouragement. But if you plant seeds of confidence, courage, and vision every day, soon you'll have a forest of possibilities. And more. If you observe people who constantly fail, you'll notice a pattern. They feed more doubt than certainty. They wait for proof before believing, when the secret is exactly the opposite. Believe first, and the proof will come. You might be surrounded by difficulties right now. Maybe your name is on a credit blacklist, you have no money, no support. But if you decide today to repeat strengthening truths with emotion, every day, your mind will begin to work for you. It's like building a new mental road. At first, It's rough and hard to travel. But with repetition and emotion, it becomes stronger, turns into your main route, and the old paths of limitation begin to fade. And here's a powerful insight. Great millionaires train auto-suggestion the way athletes train their bodies. They have daily mantras, phrases they repeat before meetings, before sleeping, upon waking. They know their mind is the battleground where success or failure is decided, long before any external result shows up. You already have this tool. You always did. What's missing, perhaps, is intention, consistency, faith. So ask yourself, what have you been saying to yourself these past few days? Are your words moving you toward wealth or keeping you trapped in lack? Are you feeding yourself courage or doubt? The answer to that question is your true bank balance, the balance of your mind. Use this power. Write down 3 powerful affirmations today. Speak them with emotion. See yourself living them. Feel them. Repeat them. Every day. Make it a sacred ritual. And you will see your reality bend before the new identity you are creating. Because whoever controls the word, controls the destiny. And the most important voice is the one only you can hear. Have you noticed how we are constantly surrounded by information? Books, videos, podcasts, social media, courses, experts, an overwhelming flood of content. And yet most people remain stuck, unable to move forward. Have you ever wondered why? Because knowledge by itself is not power. That was one of the greatest truths I discovered after decades of studying the most successful people in history. The difference between those who win and those who merely accumulate information lies in intentional use. Knowing what to learn, why to learn it, and how to apply it. The millionaires I interviewed didn't waste time on intellectual distractions. They sought knowledge the way a craftsman seeks his tools, with precision, intention, and urgency. You could spend your entire life reading self-help books, attending courses, and listening to lectures. But if that knowledge isn't connected to a clear purpose, it means nothing. It's like a map without a destination. The poor mind seeks intellectual distraction. The wealthy mind seeks applied transformation. That's where the real dividing line is. Think about this. What's the point of studying finance if you're still afraid to look at your bank statement? What's the use of watching 1,000 videos on entrepreneurship if you never take the first step in your project? True learning doesn't lie in accumulation, but in application. Millionaires don't learn out of obligation. They learn out of necessity. They don't absorb everything. They filter, focus, and execute. I saw this with my own eyes when I studied Henry Ford, a man who didn't have a college degree, who could barely write properly, yet built one of the greatest industrial empires in history. Why? Because he mastered the knowledge that truly mattered for his goal. And the most interesting part, he knew what he didn't need to know. He surrounded himself with people smarter than him in technical areas and focused his mind solely on what advanced his vision. That's strategic wisdom. That's applied intelligence. Now I ask you, are you studying for transformation or for distraction? Are you learning to evolve or just filling yourself with content to ease the guilt of not taking action? The wealthy mind knows that knowledge is a step, not an end. Every piece of information must serve a greater construction. When you're clear about where you want to go, knowledge becomes a bridge. Every book becomes a key. Every conversation, a window. Every course, a lever. But without direction, all of it becomes weight. And weight, when unused, drags you down. I made that same mistake at the beginning of my journey. I spent years studying philosophy, business, psychology, searching for the magic formula for success in every corner. But it was only when I found a clear purpose to investigate the minds of great achievers and reveal how they think and act that everything started to make sense. Every page I read, every interview I conducted became part of a mission. Knowledge became alive, useful, and valuable. And that's exactly what you need to do. Ask yourself right now, what is the next level of my life? What do I specifically need to learn to reach it? That answer will be your map. And with that map, you'll stop being a content consumer and become a builder of your future. But it doesn't stop there. The true millionaire doesn't just seek the right knowledge. They also protect their mind from what doesn't serve them. Because they know that everything you consume shapes who you become. Fear-driven news, complaint-filled conversations, social media that sells illusions, all of that is toxic. And if you don't filter it, you freeze. If you don't choose wisely, you self-sabotage. That's why so many fail despite studying so much. Because while they feed their minds with good books, they poison it with bad influences. And the subconscious doesn't separate, it absorbs everything. The true wealthy mind is selective. Not just with what it studies, but with whom it listens to, whom it walks with, and what it allows in. And more than that, it transforms knowledge into action, into experimentation, into results. Because there's no growth without practice. You only truly learn what you're brave enough to apply. This is where commitment comes in. Commit to learning only what moves you closer to your goal. Don't waste energy on what doesn't serve you. If your focus is financial, dive into practical financial education. If your focus is entrepreneurship, study sales, leadership, and strategy. But always with direction. Always with purpose. And remember, you don't need to know everything. You need to know what truly matters. The world doesn't reward those who know more. The world rewards those who deliver more, solve more, transform more. So stop chasing more information. Start seeking transformation. Use knowledge as a tool, not a hiding place. Because while some drown in content, true millionaires use knowledge as a springboard. Your time is your most valuable asset. Your focus is your most powerful weapon. And the right knowledge, applied with clarity, can change everything. The choice is yours. To keep accumulating knowledge that numbs you, or to choose the knowledge that awakens you. What you learn tomorrow / is it taking you toward the future you want? Or just distracting you from the present that needs to change? Think seriously about this. Because the next book you open could be the last excuse you need to never act again. Or it could be the first real step toward your freedom. It all depends on your intention. It depends on you.